Hi there, beautiful souls. How are you today? How are you feeling? So in this beautiful video, my spirit guides, our spirit guides, wanted to bring forward the information about grief. This has been coming up for a few days and in my awareness, and so I'm just going to bring it forward because I don't know who this information is for today, but it keeps coming through. So until I bring it forward for you, they're just going to keep bugging me with this information. So the information that's coming through is that when we grieve in our human state, we are saying that we miss them. We miss this person. We can no longer see them in this physical state. But at the same time, you know, we use words like we have lost them. They are no longer with us. This is the illusion, and this causes us even more grief, that we can't hold them, we can't hug them, we can't see them smile, we can't have a conversation. This is the illusion from the human perspective. And so what happens? Our thoughts create our reality. So if we're saying we're grieving, we're in so much grief, we are so sad because this person is no longer here with us. This is the main cause of our grief. They're no longer here with us. And this also goes for our spirit guides. If we have these thoughts that they are not here with us because we can't see them, we can't hear them, we can't communicate clearly with them. This information also is for our spirit guides. It's not just for our loved ones that have passed away, but this information is also relevant for our spirit guides. And so they wanted me to bring it forward for both. If we are saying that our spirit guides are not with us, that they've abandoned us, because this is how we feel when loved ones pass away. They've abandoned us. They've left us here in this physical form without them. All of these thoughts, all of these words that are going through your mind, we've lost them, they've passed away, they're no longer with us. This creates your reality and makes the grief even more, the sadness even more. And yes, we have to allow ourselves that experience. That's what the human journey is, allowing ourselves to have these beautiful experiences without judgment. You know, that judgment that people are like, oh, it's been 3 years. Oh, it's been 5 years. When are you going to get over it? I hear that so often. When are you going to get over it? And perhaps you are never meant to get over it. But a few things are coming up as we're having this conversation. The first thing, I want to keep on track with that awareness that's been coming through, that when we say they're no longer with us, they're not here with us, this is what we are creating in our reality. We are focusing on that feeling of intense sadness. We're focusing on that feeling of grief. We are feeling that completely. What does that feel like? Your soul is taking in all this information. What does that feel like? Now, what is happening in reality, what is happening in reality is that those beautiful beings, our loved ones that have passed, are with us in every moment. They never leave us, never. They're always with us. But as long as we stay in that mindset that they're not with us, they're not here, they've left us, then they cannot come through for you. They need to stay hidden in the spirit realm, hidden. They need to stay away. That they're with you, but they can't just give you a sign that, hey, I'm here, wake up. They can't do that because you're having this gorgeous human experience, and they respect that. They know that this is part of your journey, that you need to go through this. Your soul wants to know how that feels. But the whole time, these beautiful beings are with you, nudging you, sometimes giving you beautiful signs that yes, they are with you. Always, they've always been with you. Energetically, they are always with you, even when they're alive. So, my beautiful beings, our thoughts of them not being with us, they're not here physically, I can't give them a hug, I can't see their beautiful smile, I can't hear their beautiful voice, is what's keeping that experience in your reality. Once you are done with that experience, that intense grief and what that feels like completely, you can shift that reality. You can shift into the truth that they are with you. They've never left you. They never leave you. They're always with you. They are now infinite, eternal beings. They've gone back to their natural state. And they are with you. And they don't judge that your grief is good or bad. And they don't judge, oh, I wish she wasn't so sad, or he wasn't so sad that I'm not with them anymore. They know that this is part of your path. They know. Once they're in the spirit realm, they can see your path clearly. They're now working side by side with your beautiful soul. And how can I assist now that I'm on this side? Now that I'm back to my natural state, now that I am energy again and I've left my physical form. How can I assist this beautiful being on his path? And so they are there. And when we are ready to let go of that experience, when we are done with that experience, we can begin a new relationship with this beautiful being. One through energy, the energy that you are and the energy that they are. You can begin to have conversations with them again. You can begin to hear their beautiful voice again. And if you are in that space and you have elevated your frequency, you may even begin to see them again, my beautiful beings. This is all possible when you are done with that experience. For me, what brought this forward, this knowledge, what turned this into knowledge for me was, I remember a few years back, one of my uncles passed away. And this uncle for me was like a second father. I grew up with him. He was the closest in age to my dad. My dad is one of like 11 brothers. There's so many of them. So when my uncle passed away, my cousin, which was my closest cousin as well, I had grown up with her and we had been close all throughout our adult years until she had her first child and I had my first child, and then we kind of drifted apart from there. But that's been the last 10 years, you know. Up until then, you know, for 40 odd years, we were so, so close. Energetically, there was a strong connection between us, you know. And when my uncle passed away, they didn't tell me that he passed away. I know that I had lost touch. Like I said, in the last 10 years, we haven't been in touch. But they didn't tell me. I didn't get to go to the funeral. I didn't get to say goodbye in that way like I had with a previous uncle that had passed away. And with him, the same. I hadn't seen him for years. I had grown up with him. But at least that cousin had the courtesy to tell me, he's passed away, you're welcome to come and say goodbye. In your own way, however that looks. You know, at the time I wasn't speaking to my spirit guides. I'm trying to think if my daughter was born, if I'd even had my first awakening at that stage. I don't think she was born yet. So we're talking more than 15 years ago, you know? And I had hardly seen them for years and years and years. I mean, I had been overseas. My parents had moved back to South America. So I had been there for almost 10 years, and then I came back. And when I came back, my whole life was about starting over, so to speak, or just starting, you know, because I was starting work for the first time here in Australia, you know. I was starting a new relationship here in Australia. But throughout all of that, I was very close to this close cousin. Every day we would speak on the phone, every single day, not one day passed. And sometimes twice a day we would speak. We were so, so close. And then when her father passed away, they didn't tell me. I found out. I'm trying to think now how many months. It would have been more than 6 months after he passed away, from a Facebook post that my husband stumbled upon and asked me, "Did you know that your uncle passed away?" And then what happened the moment I found out that he had passed away? I was so, so angry with this cousin. How could she not tell me that he'd passed away? How could she not give me the opportunity to at least go to the funeral to say goodbye? I wasn't fussed about the after party or whatever it is that they do. There's not a party, but what happens after the funeral. You know, that they go to this. It's very often they'll do go somewhere. Usually a hall is hired or something, and there'll be food, and they'll be there for hours discussing this person's life. I've been to a few funerals. I wasn't fussed about missing out on that, but the actual funeral, to be there, to be able to say goodbye in person, physically, to the physical form of my uncle. You know, I was very, very angry for a few days. And then I sat with my beautiful spirit guides, because by this stage I was already in touch with them. I had very strong communication with my spirit guides. And they were asking me to look at that anger. And what was revealed to me was that it was a lot easier to be angry with my cousin than it was to allow myself to feel the grief, the sadness that I would never see him again in physical form in this lifetime. That was it. I would never see his beautiful smile in this lifetime. It's in my memory. His beautiful personality. He was so tall, this gentle giant, so loving, so caring, so nurturing. To me, he was like a second father. There was no doubt. And I have all these beautiful memories of when I came to Australia. At the age of 21, I came for a year and I lived with them, with that uncle, with that cousin. And not once throughout that year was I ever made to feel that I didn't belong. I felt like the third daughter, like their actual daughter. The girls, they treated me like I was their actual sister. Never once did I feel like I was a burden, an extra mouth to feed, like they didn't want me there. They allowed me to buy a piano and put it into their dining room area. They made space for me to do the things I loved doing, like you would with your own child. And that's one of the years for me that I just felt so much love for these beings. For once, I think for the first time in my life, I felt that I fit somewhere. that they saw me for who I really was, for who I truly was. I didn't need to be something else that I wasn't to fit in with them. I felt so loved, so seen, so supported for the first time in my life, and I was devastated when I had to go back to South America because of whatever circumstances were going on. I think that's all in my first book, Your Past is a Gift. I'm trying to remember if I included any of that, or, you know, if it was relevant. There was so much to include. I just couldn't put it all in there. I'd have to reread the book to see. But those were the memories that were coming up once I released the anger. And then my spirit guides took me to him. And in that beautiful moment, every time I remember, I'm filled with so much love. Because in that moment, it wasn't just about him. As he appeared, so did my aunt from my mum's side. My mum's sister had passed away during the COVID year, and nobody was allowed to be at her funeral because of COVID. So she passed away. I didn't get to see her again. I knew I would never see her again. And she was one of my favorite aunts. And I was devastated. You know, all through my childhood as I was growing up, this beautiful aunt used to send me all these gorgeous musical scores of traditional South American music. Tangos. I had so many tangos from her. You know, this beautiful Argentinian dance and folkloric music, like traditional folklore music, you know, of South America. There was just so much beautiful music. She was always thinking of me. And when I met her finally in South America, I just felt this strong connection. And once I released the anger and I allowed myself to feel the grief, my angels showed me, my spirit guides showed me how to connect with him in the spirit realm. And I see him often. I don't feel the need to have conversations with him. The only feeling I have is of gratitude that he was a part of my life. So much gratitude for that beautiful year I got to spend with him, and that he loved me like a daughter. I knew when he came forward that day, that's what I said to him. I said, I know life got in the way and I got busy. So many years not falling pregnant, so many years in that state, you know, of I'm never going to be a mother. And then finally with the IVF going down that rabbit hole, my life just went in a different direction. And we just stopped making time, you know, to even call them to be a part of their lives. I knew that my favorite cousin was a big part of their lives. They were always in each other's life. So I knew they weren't alone. They didn't need me. But it was the first thing I said to him. I wanted him to know how much I loved him. And the first thing he said to me was, I know, he said. And then I felt this peace within, you know, this incredible peace. And with that, as he appeared and our spirits hugged, my energetic higher self, I guess, hugged him because he's now in his higher state. My beautiful aunt was standing behind him. I hadn't noticed her. And she stepped forward. And it was this huge celebration. I hugged her and I told her how much I loved her. And I was so grateful that they were a part of my life. You know, even if it was a short period, it wasn't for most of it. But I was so grateful to have met them, to have known them, to have loved them. So grateful for them, you know. It was such a beautiful moment. And then so many of my ancestors started stepping forward. My grandparents, my grandmother on my mother's side, who up until then I had never really had a strong connection with her at all. I felt like she was the missing piece to me, understanding my beautiful childhood, my history. It's gone a bit long now, but they are there with you always. They never leave you, my beautiful beings. This is what your spirit guides and your loved ones want you to know. And you can have a relationship with them when you are ready. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And these tears are tears of love, of gratitude, I just loved them so, so much. All right, my beautiful beings. Bye for now.